We will learn how to specify goals, help our client and ourselves, because you're going to be going through this whole process as a life coach, but also as a client. Because people will be the other trainees are going to be doing active listening on you. You're going to be answering the questions in the questionnaires, and you'll also be learning how to ask the questions. We will talk about inner resistance and self-sabotage. That is the need of some people not to be happy and the resistance towards getting free from pain or hurt or anger or guilt. Uh, and this is a very important issue, and we will work with this. You will learn how to guide others in positive program. You will learn how to do relaxation techniques, and then guide another person in your life into that, and then help them program themselves differently by speaking to their subconscious. They will choose the messages that they want to hear, but you will help them refine those messages. You will learn how to make correct messages for the subconscious and how we can change our reality through positive thinking, and then also written affirmations. You will learn how to use those and teach those. There will be a few lessons on handling emotions in the present. That is, allowing, there are times when we don't have time to analyze ourselves. We don't have anyone to listen to us. We can't stop and write and analyze or even think. And so we will learn some methods just for dealing with emotions in the present until we have time. You will learn a general approach for all emotions and then specific approaches, specific questions for hurt, bitterness, injustice, abuse, pain, for disappointment. You will learn that because these emotions have something in common, disappointment, disillusionment, discouragement, depression, that there are some more specific questions that you can ask a person when they have these emotions. Jealousy, envy, loneliness, anger, hate, rage, the tendency to reject others, to criticize, to condemn, to blame. We had specific questions to ask there. Dealing with self-doubt, shame, guilt, self-rejection, unworthiness, how to learn to love ourselves, and freeing ourselves from social programming. So these will all be worked on separately. You will learn a general approach, but you will also learn specific questions and approaches for these emotions. Now, the general approach is to establish the stimulus. What exactly has happened? Is it an event? Is it external? Is it internal? Did someone say something? Did we lose something? Did we win something? Did we fail at something? Did we hear something? What is the stimulus? And the stimulus can also be an inner event. That is, I remember the past or I think of the future. It doesn't have to be something outside of ourselves. The stimulus can also be an emotion that we have, and we'll discuss that in a moment about second level emotions. So when we know the stimulus, then we seek to find the programming which creates the emotions. What we probably will do, however, is go from the stimulus to the emotion or from the emotion to the stimulus. Once we have established what the emotions are and what the stimulus is, then we can find the programming. So the question is, you feel this pain about that event. What is the belief about this event which is causing you to feel this pain or anger or guilt, whatever it may be? And then we can also discover the reaction. There are external reactions, how I react to others, and there are internal, such as tightening up, blood pressure rising, feeling unhappy. So there are internal and external reactions. We will see this again in a moment. Now, most of the stimuli that we will encounter in ourselves and other people belong to certain categories. One is relationships. So a large number of people's problems are in their relationships. This is a large field of learning in our lives. So we need to understand what kind of questions we will ask when the problem is a relationship problem. Secondly is events that happen in our lives, an earthquake, a court case, an illness, a loss of money, a divorce, a death of beloved ones. So we need to know how to deal with such events in our lives. This will be important for us personally and, of course, for the so-called client. Working place, that is our work, lessons that we have to learn in our work environment, such as relationships there, our feelings of success or failure, our income. So there are issues that people will bring to you that have to do with their work environment. And the fourth field, if you like, of lessons to be learned has to do with health or the appearance of the body. It has to do with the body, either the health of the body, or some people are very focused on their appearance, and that becomes a problem for them. They're unhappy. Okay. Also, a stimulus could be a thought about the past or the future, or the stimulus could be the functioning of the mind itself, that I observe myself thinking in a certain way and I have emotions about that. Or I observe that I am feeling angry and I have emotions about the fact that I'm feeling angry. So these are six the main categories of stimuli. Now, this is a chart that we will be working with that will help us. Here is the stimulus, the event that's happening, that information passes through our beliefs, programmings, attachments, conscious and subconscious, which are created by our past experiences, that is the contents of the subconscious, and as that stimulus passes through that belief system, it creates our emotions, feelings, our inner state. That then leads us to react and to create a certain attitude or life stance. That attitude then becomes a stimulus to other people or to life itself, and then that comes back to us, that our reaction creates a new stimulus for us, which then passes through our belief system, which is affected by our past, creates new emotions and new reactions. And we are very much caught up in a vicious circle here. And what we usually try to do to gain our happiness is to change the stimulus, that is to control the outside world. This is seldom possible. I mean, I am for doing whatever we can to change the outside world. If you can change people, if you can change society, try. But until you manage to make that change, you're probably going to need to change your beliefs so that you can be happy until the external world changes. In fact, my personal belief is that once the first stage is being able to accept what is happening and be happy with ourselves and life, and then we are more able to manifest that change. Now, the basic prerequisites for a life coach is to be interested and care for the other person. This is extremely important. For me, this is not a profession. I mean, I don't even like the word client. I personally don't even take money because I live in community and all of my needs are taken care of. But even if you do take money, that's not a problem at all. You need to live. But we need to, the reason that I'm sitting with this person should not be the money. The reason that I'm sitting with this person should be that I'm interested and care for this person and truly want to help them find happiness. Secondly, we need to be free from prejudice and opinion. That means we have to be free from our own fears and blockages and attachments. Now, of course, none of us are enlightened, so we're going to have fears. We're going to have blockages and attachments. We need to be able to separate ourselves from them when we're doing the active listening, so that we do not project upon the client our own stuff. And then we need to be free from the need to give advice. Now, what are some of the reasons that we tend to give advice, even though we know that this is not appropriate for a life coach or for a psychotherapist or for a psychologist? Um, the answer is that we often have the perception that the other is weak or unable and cannot find their own answers. Secondly, sometimes we need to verify our own self-worth by giving advice to others. Now it's very important to get free from this. We should not be using our role as a life coach to verify our own self-worth. This would not be an appropriate use. Thirdly, it's become a habit. We are in the role of the savior, and we we have in the habit of telling other people what they should do to be happy. And fourthly, others want us to tell them sometimes what to do. They they would like us to make decisions for them, and of course, this does not enable them in any way. It doesn't empower them. It just weakens them and weakens their self-esteem. We need to avoid the temptation to fall into this trap. Fourthly, we need to understand the mechanisms of the human mind, and this is what you will be learning in this seminar. And fifth, we also need to be able to leave the other with questions rather than answers. That happens to me frequently. When I leave someone, I would say, okay, look, think about this. Why are you doing this? Or why do you feel this? We don't know the answer. Observe yourself. So do not be afraid to leave a client with questions. They may even want to write the question down. Now, you will see here in the next slides a series of more specific questions which we will be learning in order to help others discover themselves exactly what is happening, what is exactly the stimulus. Because many times they think the stimulus is one thing, but it's something else. Let's not go through these now because there's a lot more I would like to tell you. You will be learning these more specific questions. And then we have more specific questions about the emotions and as how they feel and if they have other emotions and how they feel about themselves and how long they have felt this way, how often, if they have felt this way as a child, um, if there were times when they managed to feel differently in a specific, this is an important question, has this ever happened before and you felt you didn't feel this way, you didn't feel unhappy? And what did you say to yourself at those moments? You'll be learning a lot of tricks, a lot of ways to help people. Then a large number of questions about the beliefs, which we're not going to go into detail now, but the purpose is to go deeper and deeper to understand the fear, because behind all negative emotions, there is fear. Behind anger, hurt, injustice, we need to find what the person is afraid of here, what they might be losing. And that, of course, is based on attachment. We are attached to something in order to feel our self-worth, our feelings of security, our feelings of pleasure, fulfillment, freedom. And when we feel that these are in danger, we are overcome by negative emotions. So here are a number of questions about beliefs. Then we have